Hello, everyone. This is Backyard Musings, broadcasting live from Apple Valley. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
Thank you for joining us today. So, think that if you're in the Capitol on J6 and you can run for state office, better think twice. The Supreme Court this past Monday rejected an appeal from a former New Mexico County Commissioner who was kicked out of office after he was convicted of trespassing during the J6 mostly peaceful protests.
This is crazy stuff, right?
It's crazy.
I mean, the
He was
Supreme
there.
Court, maybe a couple of years ago, I would have thought that. But now, I don't.
By rejecting it, that opens up a whole new can of worms.
Well, because now you got lower courts that can just run with this thing.
Run
right?
with it, yeah. Lower courts in Washington and Oregon.
Everywhere. All
everywhere.
the loopy places. California.
Yeah.
Just Washington. Yeah, just nuts.
So the state judge barred him on the grounds that his actions violated Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. That's what the state court said. The same clause that the Supreme Court of the United States said Trump can be on a ballot because Congress needs to define insurrection. Are you confused yet?
Are they? I mean, why didn't they do that the first time that word was used? At least in this last couple of years. I don't get it. So insurrection, if I'm understanding this right, if you are involved in some kind of a violent trying to take over something or an individual or a group, right? That's kind of the gist of it. It's got to be some violence involved.
I don't know. Who knows? What kind of violence? Like hate speech?
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of violence?
I mean,
like slapping you with an open hand,
right,
or punching with a closed fist,
right,
or shooting Ashley Babbitt?
Yeah.
Does that constitute making it an insurrection? Who knows?
Yeah, and that whole J6 thing is just becoming more and more crazy all the time anyway, with the facts that they're coming out where, they weren't storming the halls of Congress. They were given tours. Some of them were given tours by the police that were there, the Capitol Police. I mean, it's
scandalous how that committee
this is crazy.
Covered up things and cherry pick things to fit their agenda and their narrative. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the Section 3 of that 14th Amendment that goes back to during the Confederate times, right? So it was basically written for if you were a Confederate sympathizer.
No,
not necessarily.
Otherwise it would have said Confederate, sympathizer. It said insurrection.
Okay,
right?
but it was brought up during that time.
During
right?
that time period.
Yeah, because they were concerned about
they didn't
people
limit it
infiltrating the government that were Confederate sympathizers. Maybe not that detailed, but anyway, that's kind of the way I read it.
So by declining to hear the case of this former New Mexico County official, the Supreme Court is giving tacit approval of any state to disqualify a state or a local official from service or election, even though the alleged insurrection did not happen in their jurisdiction.
What's happening here? Why are we restricting people from being able to run for office? I mean, that should be wide open,
so that they can put their people in. It's a hit job. This is using a means, a workaround, whatever you want to call it, to attack someone so that they can't run and beat you fair and square.
This sounds like a Putin Russia or a North Korea or Iran or someplace that the government's they control what's happening. I mean, who in their right mind would run against Putin? You end up room
dead,
temperature.
poisoned.
Yeah, you're dead. So this is crazy stuff. And again, just a deterrent from people wanting to run. I don't know.
So Democrat operatives, or even I guess even Republicans,
could be anybody. Yeah,
will now target any person for any reason. You don't have to engage in the insurrection. You just need to give aid and comfort. That's what the clause says. In order to be disqualified.
Yeah, or drinking a hot dog on the corner,
or aid and comfort
within shouting distance. It sounds like. I mean, some of these people that were there, right, that are charged, and some of them in jail, they were just there.
Right, some were just there, some didn't go up, some just observed it and said, I better need to get out of here. But it goes to show you that now, like the Democrats, like Antifa, we need to mask up so that nobody can recognize us.
Right.
To arrest us or prevent us from running for mayor, This is
Nuts.
completely
This is nuts.
Orwellian.
Yeah, this is nutsy stuff.
So here we got a quote from the other side. It says, quote, "This is a bit of returning to the course we expected to be following, which was holding individuals accountable who are low-level officials who still broke their oath by coming to D.C. and engaging in insurrection," said Stuart McPhail, an attorney with Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. It's a left-leaning group whose lawsuit against Trump ended up in the Supreme Court.
Two
right?
words in that sentence that shouldn't be, or in that the name of that organization, that
What's the word?
responsibility and ethics dealing with Washington. It's just ludicrous.
Good is bad, bad is good.
Yeah, exactly.
McPhail says there's a new sense of urgency, to take action under that clause against state or local officials linked to January 6th. Duh. Before they run for federal office and can't be sidelined. So does that mean he's saying that if somebody runs for senator and wins, later on they can run for mayor or county commissioner and still be elected and not be thrown out for J6 because they were in D.C.? What it does is it creates this incentive to bring cases from low-level officials now, because then you can actually win them and get some kind of relief in judgments, whereas if you wait, you may have lost the opportunity, this dude McPhail said, end quote. Okay. Based on the Supreme Court's ruling in the Trump disqualification case, a state or local official removed under Section 3 could still hold federal office all the way up to president unless Congress acted. This dismissal by the Supreme Court holds ominous implications, creating a pathway for partisan actors to harness Section 3, the 14th Amendment, in unpredictable ways in the future. Crazy. Democrats are going to start thinking creatively, like they always do, about what this means and do some workarounds or whatever. Target and bring them down.
Do you think this could become a deterrent? Well, it probably is a deterrent for good people wanting to run for office.
Absolutely, because this is what's going to happen. Like when Carrie Lake was campaigning, and some
Arizona,
reporter wanted
right.
a soundbite and said, "Carrie, Miss Lake, do you think that the election was rigged and the people on January 6th were okay?" And she says, "Well, yes, it was rigged, and yes, they're fine. They were doing their civic responsibility." Boom, aiding and comforting, right there. Somebody's going to target her.
So wrong.
Aid and comfort. You're out. You can't run for whatever.
Nuts.
Comptroller of the state of California, or whatever, What constitutes an insurrection under Section 3, right? How do First Amendment rights and other constitutional guarantees like a legal search and seizure, right, interact with this provision? We don't know. We're going to find out, though. It's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, this dude was shot down by SCOTUS, so Illinois, they're going to target Oregon, Seattle, Massachusetts, Philadelphia, PA, Michigan. They're all going to target now. And you might even have Dems in red states, Dems in Texas who will try and target Texas politicians.
This is crazy.
It's crazy.
Out of control.
That just barely touches on what this is.
It does.
It's like Twilight Zone. Banana Republic.
Where's it going to end?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wish I could tell you that, Scott. I don't know. If you know when this is going to end, let us know.
Yeah, get out your Ouija ball or your crystal ball or whatever kind of ball you look at.
Hopefully it's not cracked, that crystal ball. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Take care. Have a good day.